SS Division. Tell us a little bit about the 5th SS and what you're carrying and why you're wearing camouflage.
5th SS Division was formed in 1941. They were actually made up of all foreign volunteers from the occupied nations, made up from Norway, Holland, Scandinavia, Estonia. We even had a couple regiments from Sweden that came over and volunteered to fight with the Viking Division. We call it Viking or Viking because of all the Nordic volunteers, so they kind of kept along with the Nordic theme, I suppose.
They're obviously in German uniform, but these are actually Russian volunteers who decided to fight against Stalin and join the German army. I'll let these guys go ahead and tell a little bit about what they're carrying. They're very heavily armed. They've got a lot of automatic weapons. I'll let them go ahead and give us a little talk.
So who here knows what a Cossack is, or has heard of a Cossack? Okay. You think on someone on horseback with a saber coming through with a funny hat, right? We're all Cossacks. So kind of going off of what Tyler had spoke about earlier, the Germans had a huge problem towards the mid-war period. They had a lack of volunteers. There wasn't enough troops from Germany to fill their ranks. So as they went further east through Ukraine, there's a Poland, Lithuania, all the Baltic states, each country had volunteers that came forward to fight with the Germans against communism. That was generally the mentality. Many people had perished during the 20s and 30s, starvations, Ukraine for instance, and were very adamant about retaking their lands. They saw the German forces as their freedom. So if you look at us currently, we're set up for a Normandy / northern France type impression. So we're very heavily armed, and if you had seen like the last two gentlemen portraying Germans, they had heavy gear on. We were basically in combat, so a lot of the metallic items, things that would clank, would have been removed temporarily, left at wherever our position was, and as we went forward, we were basically just taking the primary items with us to move quicker. Standard riflemen, if you look here, they basically carry a variety of weapons. The primary would be the Mauser P98, which we've already covered. In addition to that, many Russian and former Soviet weapons were used as well. So you'd see quite a variety of weapons, even in the Western Front. Because there was a general shift about mid-war where German units who had traditionally been manning the defenses in France along the coastlines were moved east to fight on the Eastern Front because Hitler didn't trust the foreign volunteers. Many foreign volunteers up until about mid-war had been moved to the defensive line in the east, and they basically figured that these people would stab them in the back, that they would turn on the German officers at any moment. So the reversal came mid-war, and a lot of foreign volunteer units, like these Cossack units, were sent to France. So weapons-wise, other than the standard Mauser and you see Moisin-Nagant rifles, we have, this is a German light machine gun. It's an MG34. You want to say something about it, Frank?
No, yeah, I get that. This is the German MG34. This is the predecessor to the MG42. The MG42, the difference between that and this is the MG42 is stamped steel, and that is in the position currently in the battlefield. This was milled steel construction. This is a very solid gun. The Germans appreciated it for its quality, but not for its weight. The rate of fire was significantly lower than the MG42 that is known as Hitler's buzzsaw. The benefit of this weapon is it also had a select fire system capabilities. It could fire semi-automatic by a simple pull of the trigger. The trigger has a double trigger system, with a little button on the lower half of the trigger, which allows the gun to fire in either semi-auto or full auto. And if you compress the whole trigger, it'll fire in full auto. This was a great benefit to the user, but it wasn't fun to carry around, so you'd see something like this being thrown on top of a unit such as ours, volunteers. They would get the good weapons. So
the thing to bear in mind too is like this weapon is an early war weapon. It was used throughout the war, but it was developed early on. The Germans, as you know, are known for over-designing sometimes and really putting a lot of effort into their weapons. I mean, most of this gun is it's a milled, correct?
This is all milled.
It's all milled, so I mean, you can imagine it takes quite a lot of man hours to build something like that.